As you would expect, the opening line of the 119th Psalm is breathtaking in its scope. Enjoyable and happy, Ashri, properly guided and blessed, straight and favourable, is the way, Derek, to becoming perfect, innocent and entirely blameless. Tamim, to becoming totally righteous, sound and perfectly healthy, whole and complete, unimpaired and right, in absolute accord with the truth, by walking, halak, travelling and following in, the Towrah, the teaching and instruction, the guidance and direction of Yahweh. Mizmore 119 verse 1. First and foremost, this statement explains the way we are to meet the covenant's requirement. And Yahweh appeared as God to Abram, and he said to him, I am God Almighty. Choose of your own volition to walk to my presence and to become perfect, innocent, and entirely blameless. Tamim, Bereshith, chapter 17, verse 1. We accomplish this by halak ba Torah, walking in the Torah. But God was remarkably specific when he revealed that the Derek way to Tamim, becoming perfect, was Ashri, enjoyable and happy. He directed our attention to his Chag, festival feast. These 7 celebratory parties, known as the Moed Mikre, called out assembly meetings, are not only found in the heart of the Torah, they comprise the means to our salvation. The answer then to the question man is most desirous of knowing has just been given. And like all important answers, it is found in the Torah. Reinforcing this, I would submit to you that there are only 2 places where walking plays an essential role in the Torah. In the first, to engage in the aforementioned covenant, we are asked to walk away from the things of man, and then to walk to God. In the second, God encourages us to walk with him, as he leads us to the promised land through the observation of Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, 7 Sabbaths, trumpets, and reconciliations, concluding in tabernacles. By walking in the Torah of Yahweh, we are walking away from the edicts of man, from Babel, corruption, and confusion. And by trusting and relying upon Yahweh's Torah, we become righteous and innocent, because God provided the means to vindication through the 7 steps which comprise his called out assemblies. The Torah is the source of our salvation, making it possible for us to enjoy an eternal relationship with God. Properly guided, blessed, and happy, Ashri, joyous in the most favourable of circumstances, are those who are saved and preserved by observing Natsah, who are those spared, protected, and kept safe by carefully and diligently focusing upon his testimony, Idah, his restoring an eternal witness, from Ed, witness, testimony, and evidence which endures forever, a contracted form of Ood, to repeatedly testify about restoration and to exhort, warn, and affirm through solemn testimony. They generally seek to have a relationship with him and his witness, Darash. They desire to know more about it and him, to petition, consult with, and ponder it and him, to look to it to find him, to really care about it and him, and consistently rely upon the witness and its author. For all, lakol, time, dur, in every age, place, and generation. Verse 2. While man is preoccupied with salvation, God's focus is not only on forming an enduring relationship. He has no interest in saving those who do not engage in the covenant. So we should not be surprised that those who are ashari, properly guided, darash, genuinely seek to have a relationship with him and his witness, la kol dur, for all time. And they, that's are saved by observing Yahweh's idah, restoring witness and enduring testimony. In fact, the only reason God is interested in saving those who embrace his covenant is so that his children could live with him forever. In the bluffs above Qumran, this, the greatest of the Psalms, is found between what is now labelled the 132nd and 135th Psalm on the scroll now called 11 QPS. It provides the most comprehensive ancient witness of the Mizmore. Referring to it, we find two errors in the Masoretic text in the second verse. The first seems to suggest that those who are properly guided and saved seek to have a relationship with her, not him. And, if this is the case, the third person singular feminine pronoun is referencing Yah's idah, restoring testimony, which is a feminine noun. This then suggests that we find God through his witness, and that we are thereby properly guided and saved. The second Masoretic error is that they replaced la kol dur, for all time, with ba kol leb, in their hearts. Correctly rendered, we discover that the means to being properly guided and saved, and to develop a relationship with God, is enduring. It is the same for every age, generation, place, and time. As an additional benefit, those who are guided by Yahweh's Torah are averted away from doing things which are inappropriate. So therefore, moreover, they do not carry out, lo, ba'al. They do not forge, fashion, conceive, or perform that which is harmful or wrong, eolah, and injustice, that which is evil and inappropriate, by walking in his ways, ba derek halak, by following his example and path. Verse 3. The Torah is the antidote for corruption. God's instruction is the cure for religion. His teaching serves as a light upon the path home, and his guidance exists as a map which keeps us from going astray. This next stanza, especially set in the context of the second verse, serves to explain the means to embrace the fourth condition relative to engaging in the covenant. If you recall, Yahweh asked us to continuously and eternally observe his covenant relationship. So, you, Atah, yourself ordained, Zawah. You spoke of and provided these instructions and this guidance regarding your precepts, those instructions which you have entrusted to us, encouraging us to carefully examine for guidance, so that we respond appropriately to you. Pikudim, your directions which guide our choices, teaching us how to respond correctly and rationally to you, to be diligently observed, la mahod shama, to be focused upon, to be very, very carefully examined and considered, caring about them to the greatest extent possible. Verse 4. More robustly translated, pikudim, which is a plural derivative of pakad, when rendered in the second person and addressing Yahweh, says, Your precepts, those instructions which you have entrusted to us, encouraging us to pay close attention to and examine, these are directions you have provided for our guidance, so that we might respond appropriately to you. The pikudim are rules which guide our choices, actions, and moral decisions. They teach us how to respond appropriately, rationally, and morally to Yahweh. The reason is obvious, so that, akale, oh that, my path through life, derek, my ways, will be properly prepared and firmly established. Kun will be appropriately directed, steadfast and upright, by la, observing, examining and considering, shama, revering and choosing, your truth, emeth, your consistent, never-changing, sure, honest, fair, enduring, and reliable testimony. Verse 5. Here, once again, we find a different reading in the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Masoretic text concludes with choke, prescriptions, while 11 QPS states that we are to observe Yahweh's emeth, truth, his consistent, never changing or wavering, sure, steadfast, honest, fair, enduring, and reliable testimony. So, recognizing that rabbis are wont to mold God's prescriptions to their liking, changing them as they see fit, it is no wonder that they were opposed to revealing that his message represented enduring and unchanging truth. Those who are properly prepared are seldom embarrassed. Then, as, therefore, I will not be ashamed, bosh. I will not be put to shame by, ba, looking at, nabat, observing, understanding, highly regarding, and thinking about, all of, kol, the Almighty's, el, terms and conditions regarding your binding covenant contract, mitzvah, and your authoritative, written, and legal instructions. Verse 6. Those who read the Torah and who respect its instructions are not ashamed by the summation of God's teaching, which was etched on the 2 tablets of stone. Here you will notice the best way to thank God for what he has done, and to demonstrate that we understand what he has done, is to do so in an upright attitude, which is to say, on our feet, not on our knees. You, I will publicly acknowledge and thank, Yada. To you, I will express my gratitude while professing your acts and attributes. Directly, in an upright attitude, Ba Yashar Lev, in a straightforward manner with appropriately guided feelings. When, Ba, I learn, Lamad, I investigate and respond properly to your righteous and vindicating Tzadak, your appropriate, just, fair, and acquitting means to resolve disputes. Mishpat, make decisions, achieve justice, and execute good judgment. Verse 7. Yahweh's 7-step plan of salvation is pure genius in that it both fairly and justly resolves the issues associated with our sinfulness, without compromising Yahweh's integrity. God paid our penalty, thereby redeeming us. Those are indeed acts worth extolling, deeds for which we should be grateful. While the message is the same, there are two ways to interpret this next line. Mia can serve to intensify azab, which is to say, there is absolutely no possibility under any circumstances whatsoever that I will be neglected or forsaken by you. Or Mia can be translated 100, and thus speak of 100 eternities. According to your clearly communicated prescriptions of what we should do in life to live, Chok, your inscribed thoughts and engraved recommendations regarding life in the covenant relationship, by being observant, Shema, through careful examination and evaluation, I will not be forsaken by you. Azab, I will not be neglected, abandoned, or disassociated from you. For 100, Mia, eternities, Ad. Verse 8. So, under the letter Aleph, which is symbolic of Yahweh's power and authority, and which speaks of beginnings, here are the first 4 couplets and 8 verses of this ode to the Torah. Enjoyable, favorable, and blessed, Ashri, is the way, Derek, to becoming innocent, perfect, and entirely blameless. Tamim, by walking, halak, in, the Torah of Yahweh. Properly guided, Ashari, or those who are saved and preserved, Nasar, by his testimony, Idah. They genuinely seek to have a relationship with him and his witness, Darash, for all, la, kol, time, dur. Therefore, af, they do not carry out, lo, ba'al, that which is harmful or wrong, yola, by walking in his ways, ba, derek, halak. You, Ata, yourself ordained, Sawa, your precepts, those instructions which you have entrusted to us, encouraging us to carefully examine for guidance so that we respond appropriately to you. Pikodim, so that they would be diligently observed and very, very carefully examined and considered. La Ma'od Shama. So that, Akale, my path through life, Derek, would be properly prepared and firmly established, Kun, by, La, observing, examining, and considering, Shema, your truth, your consistent, never changing, sure, honest, fair, enduring, and reliable testimony. Imeth. Then, as I will not be ashamed, Bosh, by, ba, looking at Nabat, all of, Kol, God's, El, terms and conditions as they relate to your binding covenant contract, mitzvah. You, I will publicly acknowledge and thank, expressing my gratitude while professing your attributes, Yada, directly, in an upright attitude, Ba Yashar Leb, when, Ba, I learn and properly respond to, Lamad, your righteous and vindicating, Sadak, means to resolve disputes, Mishpat, according to, your clearly communicated prescriptions of what we should do in life to live, Chok, by being observant, Shema. I will not be forsaken by you. I will never be neglected or disassociated from you, azab, not for 100 mia eternities, ad. Mizmore 119, verses 1 through to 8.